this right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum.
Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with ChristoLight, your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing. Ashe.
What if every thought you've ever had was recorded somewhere in the universe? Every emotion, every decision, every moment of your existence, stored in what's known as the Akashic records. Think of it as the universe's ultimate library, containing the energetic imprint of every soul's journey throughout time. These records hold the answers to your deepest questions about purpose, relationships, and spiritual growth. Across traditions, seekers describe a living archive of wisdom, and it's not locked away from you. During our live episodes of Grand Rising with ChristoLight, we explore how to tap into this cosmic database of universal truth. Join us Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Discover insights on your path, release old patterns, and align with your purpose. Preview the Akashic records with us, then go deeper live. Set a reminder now.
If you may, take a deep breath in through the nose. Ore si me koitene ashite ma utu ma yakianata e koyanate ma ute she ma to eme ana kote ma emakua kiata ayakua yana si me na kota in unoya na ukoya na kianata. Grand day and welcome everybody to this 11/11 edition Grand Rising with ChristoLight. Happy 11/11 to everybody, and I wish you all a beautiful, balanced, and activating day. As you guys saw in our last episode, we left off exploring the astral planes. And let's go ahead and take a quick rewind to last Thursday so you guys can get a fresh recap of the astral planes. Also tune in with our special guest, Lunar Queen. And then we will pick it up from there. But we will be traveling and talking about the Akashic records, the vault or the library of all of creation, all of existence, that we can all access in our everyday life, not just specific sidekicks or specific mediums, but all of us. We are all capable of accessing this Akashic library. And this Akashic library is embedded within all of existence and all of creation. So before we dive into what the Akashic is and explore how it is that we can access it, let's go ahead and take our rewind to last Thursday, the astral planes.
Talking about the astral planes, non-physical realms that exist right alongside our material world. Think of reality like a multi-story building. We live on the ground floor, the physical plane, but there.
It's been a beautiful series. I thank you all that have liked, shared, and subscribed along the way. I love nettle and moringa mixed, very grounding. Very nice. I was gifted some Ukrainian forest berry tea and is my favorite by far. The astral plane is the fourth dimension and is referred to as the astral plane or astral dimension of the soul matrix. The fourth dimension, a green energy wave spectrum, is a dimension with heart damage, the Anubis black heart, and soul-based trauma, which is partially propagated from incredible history of human soul damage upon the planet. These 2D, 4D energy centers are comprised and are a part of every human being's heart chakra complex. The tree of life, which is the light body architecture, every aspect of the universal creation, and life spirals are designed and instructed through these blueprint structures. Then it talks about 12 spheres, 12 rays, 12 dimensions, 12 timelines, 12. Whoever controls the mind controls the soul. Most negative agenda mind control is manipulated in the astral plane, and this alien machinery has damaged humanity's astral heart and fourth chakra, mostly in the second chakra and into the instinctual response functions of the central nervous system. From the second level of chakra layer, infection, if the addiction becomes severe over time, repetitive destructive reactions and spiritual abusive behaviors as the response to external stimuli.
This is where people will typically experience, seeing demons or seeing, as I say, negative entities and things like that. The middle plane
to the awareness
is,
or how did that happen for you?
So, at a very young age, I had family members who practiced in the astral realms very frequently. So they introduced me to the idea at a very young age. I felt like I wasn't crazy this whole time. Just because my whole life I've always seen entities, and I actually turned it off. I was like, I don't want to see them anymore. Please stop showing yourselves to me. All of my friends think I'm crazy. I just would rather not see you guys, right?
Order and structure to life. You got to think like there has to be some type of operations, some type of mechanics, some type of fundamentals that are embedded within this creation.
On the ends, pick 4 corners and put a stone there with your mind's eye. And then on the back side of the stone, put a meaning at the time is the time to go into the astrals. I've also taken tags off of other people as well. I don't really tell people because I don't want to scare them. I know I just explained a lot. There's a lot of different ways, and those were only like 4 chakras, maybe 5 that I mentioned that you can use to go exploring with. So it just depends. A lot of people actually like to pull their whole aura, light body.
All right. So that was where we left off on Thursday with the astral planes. Now we shall continue and talk about the Akashic records. So the Akashic records, according to ascensionglossary.com by the wonderful cosmic author Lisa Renee, so the Akashic records, this is a quick reference term. This is a quick reference term used to define the universal matrix of cellular memory that has contained within it the recorded event of every possible experience and permutation of consciousness existing within our 15-dimensional universal time matrix. Many times, other healers refer to this term as a part of clearing the soul record memory in the Akasha field of memory. The Akashic record, or Akasha, is a reference to the name of our universal God seed code system that carries all the frequency and coding that created our universe. The Guardians refer to this universal system as the Akasha, or the Eka universal system. The Akasha is a more common terminology that many of us have heard before that refers to the same meaning. When we are doing emotional clearing work, many times we will state with the power of our declaration and self-sovereignty that we clear and dissolve its trauma effect upon our spiritual body's karmic record. Hence, clear this pattern from my Akashic record. You are stating you command its clearance from the record of every existing in your holographic energy field across all time and space. On a planetary and solar level, the Hall of Records are tubes leading to spherical probability fields that one can walk through. Your body can pass through the stargates and watch existence everywhere in every time frame. They are like surround and vision theaters. Wow, how cool is that? It's interesting because when I take people onto my Akashic Soul Origin guided meditation sessions, I take people into these golden doorways, and then these golden doorways take us into these tubes basically, and then the tubes push us into the next dimension or realm that I take them to experience, whether it's their home star planet or another star planet that they incarnated on. That is something that happens during my session. So that's so interesting. And it makes sense too. It says, if your body can pass through the stargates. So you have to be carrying the vibration to be able to pass through the stargate and have the matching frequency to go into that time space to experience. So there are many references to the Akashic Record, the Hall of Records, or the Eternal Book of Life from the many sacred texts of the ancients. The Akashic Records emanate from the primordial substance of the eternal God source, of which is projected as the DNA record and its instruction set, morphogenetic field of all creation over time. They are comprised of the memory record of the entire consciousness journey over time. So every idea, thought, word, and action is registered in the Akashic record, which can be accessed and interpreted over any point in the spiral of time. Each universe, galaxy, planet, being has its own Akashic memory, and there are many collective memory records of all spiritual families on their journey throughout time. The way we receive the intelligence information from the Akashic record is through transmissions via encoded light language. That's cool. That's our first reference to light language here in the Ascension Glossary. And the light language I actually shared when we opened up. So that language that wasn't English that I shared was light language for you guys. Which is sacred geometry of words, symbols, glyphs, and the language encoded in quote-unquote fire letters. There are stages of access in the Akashic records, and very few beings at this time on Earth have the purity to access beyond the soul planes of the second density. One must be purified to exist within the higher ethical standards of spiritual morality, and it is important for the accurate representation of the Akasha to transmit through a being with purely selfish motivation of negative ego desires or service to self-orientation. This manifests as a partial access or corruptive view to the historical record or the soul record under the guise of the ego's slant or judgment of circumstances. And that's actually a very great statement, and a great thing to bring up right now is, number one, if you are the vessel that is transmitting, make sure you're doing the self-work. Make sure you're clearing out your traumas. Make sure you're doing the things to cleanse out your energy. And make sure you're not attaching your lower ego to the decisions that you're telling people and the things that you are sharing when guiding their souls. And then on the contrary, if you're receiving, make sure you discern who it is that is reading your field, and make sure that they do not have these things I just named taking place and are using it while they guide you. So with pure heart-based motivation and sacred and reverent prayers towards life, one may request to access one's own Akashic record to view other lifetime identities, histories, patterns, and related issues that may have imprinted in the current lifetime. This may be very helpful in clearing and releasing painful patterns in the soul memory and the emotional body. Hydration check. Drink that clean water. Rudolf Steiner, a lot of us know Rudolf Steiner, spoke about what he considered to be his direct experience of the Akashic records, sometimes called the Akasha Chronicle. He thought to be a spiritual chronicle of the history, prehistory, and future of the world and mankind. In a number of works, Steiner described a path of inner development he felt would let anyone obtain comparable spiritual experiences. Sound vision could be developed, in part by practicing rigorous forms of ethical and cognitive self-discipline, concentration, and meditation. In particular, a person's moral development must precede the development of spiritual faculties. So the Akashic and the Akashic records. As we process the liberation of the universal Melchizedek logos during the June solstice, this has greatly impacted the areas on the planet that has had some parts of the Emerald Founder records. This is surfaced along with the particle record of Akashic and anti-particle records of the Akashic, as the Hall of Records, which can appear like holographic bound books filled with information. Some of this information recorded in the books of records changed or is altered from each position in the dimensional field of which it is to be viewed. During this phase, it seems like Melchizedek Logos and the Emerald Founders are taking inventory of those records with the Maharahi groups of the inner earth. They are determining what is artificial and organic, and moving the organic held founder records of our natural memory matrix to the safekeeping of authentic cosmic Christo Son, Blu-ray Melchizedek archivists, and Emerald Dragon timekeepers, embodied on various organic timelines. Beautiful. Let's check out the Akashic. I've never heard this term before. The Akashic records. The parallel anti-particle matrix records is referred to as the Akashic records. So as we process the liberation of the universal Melchizedek logo, okay, I just read this actually. Interesting. So there's the Akashic, which is inside of the particle matrix, and then the Akashic is outside of our 15-dimensional matrix, is what I'm getting. Very intriguing. And it makes sense. There's definitely going to be records outside of our time matrix. Okay. So we're going to take a moment. Powerful Rising, Katrina. Welcome in, welcome in. We're discovering the Akashics today. Happy 11/11. So we're going to go ahead and take a pause from the reading. And we're going to go ahead and check out a little bonus treat. We're going to check out some info about 11/11 today, how we can connect with this galactic portal. So get comfortable, enjoy. This is Mariah from YouTube. Excellent.
Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Maria. This channel is about spirituality. Please subscribe below so we can be YouTube friends. This is my 11/11 2025 Portal Day video. In this video, we're going to dissect the energies of November 11th, what you should be expecting, what are the codes that are streaming down to planet Earth from the greater cosmos. What are the energies of the day? What are the practices that I recommend, etc., etc. All of that and more in this video. Okay, you guys, if you know me, you know 11/11 is one of my absolute favorite portals. I think it's between 8/8 and 11/11. Almost any year, you can find me meditating. You can find me downloading the codes. This November 11th is very special because, as you remember from my past videos, we are finishing a 9-year numerological cycle. That means that next year we're going to start from 1. We're going to start from square 1, going into a new 9-year cycle with which we get to build something else new and different. The reason this portal of 11/11 is special is because of the frequency that it brings, very high dimensional codes streaming down, because of optionality that it brings. In other words, everybody will get a little bit of something specifically for themselves. And because of the potency of those energies, how quickly they can get into your energy field, how fast it would start working with, within your aura, and also how long they would last. All of these and more make this November 11th truly a treat, truly a treat. Okay, if I were to dub this portal something, I would call it the portal of starfall and anchoring. Yeah, I just really love this analogy because the first thing my guides showed me was this person walking on a path and literally just stars falling down from the sky all over, and the person just needs to catch the star and integrate it. Of course, the star is an analogy here. A lot of energies that are quite benevolent, quite unusual, are streaming down to planet Earth at record speeds and in record quantities, frankly. And so this portal of 11/11 is all about catching the codes that belong to you, that make the most sense within who you are. And then the second part of the day, or the second part of the portal, is anchoring. What does that mean? Taking those energies, integrating them into your body, and getting them to work for you. Means essentially anchoring those energies into the fabric of your life so that they can start sprouting into something beautiful in the next 9-year cycle. And that is what the portal is all about. So long story short, it is one of the days where manifestation is quite potent. However, I want to be careful dubbing because it's every single portal that we have is going to last you for 9 years. It is cycle, and towards the very beginning of the cycle, these portals become extra. The second part about manifestation portals, and they're usually called the day off. Here's what you can do. If you are looking to catch the stars during the starfall, and of course, it's the proverbial stimulate in the morning, close your eyes, and then imagine yourself having just a big basket, empty basket, and just collect the stars that want to fall into that basket. It's a very beautiful exercise, like very quick meditation. And it could be quite telling if you just watch how many stars naturally gravitate or want to pour into your basket, if you will. Have all of these are little symbols. And then from there, you can ask the universe to decode the messages for you, because blue energies run on a spectrum. Just giving you an example, it could mean anything from strength to the power of the word and being a great orator to, I don't know, being able to reveal
All right, so that'll do it for our video. The internet can't really keep up with it, so we'll just continue on. But there was some good techniques and practices that she was able to mention for us that you guys can participate in, including the silver star catching, setting your intentions and opening up, whether you create a physical basket or energetic basket, to be able to catch the streaming silver energy and silver stars coming down from above, and envisioning that you are receiving codes and activations from these silver stars of 1111. So the Akashic records, if you guys go back in the series, and you guys can check out the series anytime, just a couple episodes ago we talked about timelines. So if you guys want to know about timelines in depth, along with this Akashic Records knowledge, you can visit 2 episodes back on the YouTube channel, Sacred Light Broadcast Network, and you can check out what timelines are as well to help complement your awareness and knowledge of self. So with that being said, we're going to go back to our study and education. There was just a couple of things I wanted to highlight that I noticed in this reading to allow us to become aware of. So I wanted to check out the Emerald Founder Records. The Emerald Founder Records I have mentioned a couple of times, but I'm gonna go ahead and read these beautiful intentions that were made by the Emerald Founders to help us in our universal time matrix. So the Emerald Covenant, you guys can take a picture of this or tune into it however you feel. But the Emerald Covenant, number 1, the first God world creation founder race, the Emerald Order, the Amethyst Order, and the Gold Order, which represents the threefold flame. Unify the Earth race, lines through spiritual healing and freedom to enter the Intergalactic Worlds Federation, supporting the Orifum Indigo Grail lines to awaken and evolve into Diamond Sun DNA, support all humanity to regenerate DNA towards the Diamond Sun or the Gold Sun, educate hidden history, founder records, Law of One CDT plates, and bioregenesis. Allow free will choice on what agendas humanity follows. Uphold egalitarianism, freedom, reference for life, unconditional love, respect, and natural laws. So that is the Emerald Covenant. And those that are of the Emerald founder race, or that represent the Emerald Order, they uphold these principles to help maintain integrity in this universe. And you guys can read all about that if you would like on ascensionglossary.com. And then I also wanted to go to the inner earth. I'm sure we've heard about the inner earth in different ways. So the inner earth timeline allows an access into the transharmonic fields. This is the ability to easily slide back and forth into the parallel realities. The aperture into the inner earth timelines has been opening up gradually on the earth's surface since 2000. Many people have had direct contact from the inner earth residents that are a mixture of the more advanced human and reptilian civilizations. Recently, some of these civilizations have been chastised for giving deceptive information in the New Age channelings to Earth humans on the surface. These groups were essentially afraid that surface inhabitants would invade the inner Earth civilization and destroy their more advanced culture. So they spread a lot of disinformation. Oh, that makes a lot of sense now I think about it. They just don't trust humans at this point. So they try to make sure that humans won't go into the inner earth and destroy it. Wow. Good old humanity. Inner earth residents consider Earth's surface inhabitants to be hybrids that are mixed with refugee races and criminal minds, making surface inhabitants much more hostile and violent. I mean, I see why. They do not have war or kill each other, so this apprehension towards surface Earth inhabitants is understandable. Most do not completely understand the reality of the negative agenda invasion and mind control on the surface. Even though the inner Earth residents are much more advanced and have access to technology that surface inhabitants don't have, they are also undergoing revelations of deeper truth and spiritual ascension to embody into their next higher potentials. Surface Earth soul groups may also return to the inner Earth timelines during Bardo. If that is a soul family they are most intimately connected to, continue the next stage of their journey to skip forward in time. It is possible that in the future, Bardo will not be necessary for a surface dweller to return back into the inner Earth, as the transharmonic field access makes time travel easier. These are future humans, and they look very much like we do on the surface, like the exception of living much longer, appearing younger, taller, and more symmetrical. And then last one we'll read is the Emerald Dragon Timekeeper. For those Ascension prototypes in the Emerald and Blue Ray Rishik families receiving the Templar Rushi codes, the entire 12-pillar clock shield configuration from the first God world creation will begin to anchor itself within the core manifestation body of the 12-tree grid. whereby the entire cosmic clock function of the 12 Ruche pillars is anchored into the internal layers of the light body and will begin to embody the entire instruction set within the individual's DNA. This is the Emerald Sun DNA activation that is ensconced within the Emerald Tree of Life as the cosmic clock internal Templar. Those who embody the Emerald Sun DNA and Emerald Dragon Timekeepers, in which the sphere of influence emanating from Emerald Order consciousness will collapse artificial or destructive fallen angelic timelines, and those that are exposed to their radiating aura consciousness field. And the last thing I'll read here is the embodying of the Emerald Templar Ruche. The cosmic clock of the Templar Ruche in the Holy Father 12 o'clock position will anchor in the 8 dimension center Azora point, signifying corrected northern coordinate alignment to the Holy Spirit aqua emerald flames that are merged within the sacred crystal heart. There was something I saw this rising about that. The emerald rays coming into the crystal heart. Oh, it was about the Schumann resonance and the X flares that were coming through. Very interesting. The Holy Mother 6 o'clock position will anchor into the 5D center, generating the corrected navel position and the appropriate southern alignment for building a strong base 6 grounding shield or full 0-point shield. The east-west alignments are the positions for building the Michael Mary wings, in which the 3 o'clock position anchors into the 7-dimensional center, and the corresponding 9 o'clock position anchors into the 6-dimensional center of the personal 12-tree grid. When the process for embodying the entire 12 Templar Ruchi of the cosmic clock is complete, then the thymus gland, which is the higher heart chakra, ignites each of the pillars with the small little Amoria blue flames that turn into multiple arc fields that begin to lay the foundation for building the eternal Emerald Tree of Life into the instruction sets of the local grids that you are inhabiting. This is the function of the Emerald Sun DNA in order to shift the planetary system away from artificial timelines and into organic timelines governed by the cosmic clock. Very intriguing. The Michael Mary wings. Gotta check this out real quick. So the 6 and 7-dimensional ray frequencies connected into vertical axional lines and horizontal meridians that are connected to energetic portals that are on the top of our shoulders and run down each side of our body. In the angelic human light body, these 2 energy centers operate as portals and are called the wings. The 6-dimensional portal wing is in the top right shoulder, indent on the masculine side of the body, and the 7-dimensional portal wing is on the top left shoulder, indent on the feminine side of the body. That makes a lot of sense why in Reiki you're taught to start by connecting with their shoulders. So you're accessing those wing portals, 6 and 7 dimensions. Interesting. The 6-dimensional portal is connected to the celestial body in the 3rd layer of our soul matrix, and when activated, begins the process of the soul twin flame merge that occurred within our bodies that synthesize the first stage of hierogamic union or sacred marriage. When we start to build our 6D light body, our masculine and feminine energies attempt to merge and synthesize a pathway up our central vertical channel, connecting into the base of the brain, and synthesize the frequency from out of the 6th energy center in the center of the forehead and brain. Wow. Then when completed, we are holding the first layer of our inner template of divine union in the soul matrix and able to outwardly manifest the first levels of our divine union or hierogamic partnerships. Interesting. I got this little image here. 3 levels of sacred marriage, the pathway to crystal consciousness. Level 1, 6 and 7 dimension, building wings. Level 2, crystal lotus heart, 8th and 9th dimension. Then level 3, Gamos, Christo's hydroplasmic light, 10, 11, and 12 dimensions. Good stuff. All right, so that will do it for our reading for today on this episode. That is on ascensionglossary.com for all of you that are curious and would like to read more. And with that being said, let's go ahead and take a little break. Then when we get back, we'll be watching our videos about the Akashic Records, and then we will close out.
The 8th dimension is the one that connects the whole thinking of the universe in different levels of consciousness. Not only mind, as in the 1st dimension, but also emotional and physical. That's why we call the 8th dimension the Akashic Records, and also we call the 8th dimension the matrix in which we are all in.
A collection of all human events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent to have ever occurred in the past, present, or future. The concept of the Akashic Records finds its origins in ancient Sanskrit texts. But what knowledge lies within these treasured records, and how does one uncover their eternal truths? The Hindu word Akasha, meaning upper sky, was introduced into Western culture by Theosophical Society co-founder Helena Blavatsky during the mid-1800s. Theosophists described the Akasha as the primordial substance that includes all vital forces. Though never specifically referring to the Akashic Records directly, Blavatsky did make reference to indestructible tablets of the astral light, utilized for recording both the past and future of one's thoughts and actions. This repository of cosmic information, referred to as the Akashic Records, was widely disseminated by early theosophists, like author Alfred Percy Sinnett. In his 1883 book, Esoteric Buddhism, Sinnett suggests one could view their own Akashic Records upon attaining higher stages of individual enlightenment.
The Akashic Records is an etheric language. It's actual place as well as a modern day modality of healing and intuitive work. It has the imprint, the energetic imprint of all of your past lifetimes. And you have a personal book of life that's stored in the etheric field of the planet, in the Akashic Records. And you can access this during your lifetime, and it will give you a deeper knowing of who you are and why you're here.
Many religions reference a posthumous life review upon entering the afterlife, where a book of life, or similar notion, is used to judge and weigh the merits of one's existence. Yet, is the idea of an Akashic library a literal, physical place, or a metaphorical myth used to explain a complex idea?
It's been referred to as the Hall of Records, the Library of Light, the Mind of God. God's remembrance. There's many ways that they are referred to. And they hold what we would call our past, present, and potential future. And it's because we are here in linear time in the third dimension, and we've agreed to this time-space continuum that says, well, there is a past, there is a present, and there's the future, but where these records reside, we could say, is really in the eternal now, in the present moment. And so there is no past, there is no future, there is only now.
When I explain about the eighth dimension and the Akashic records, I used to explain it like if it were a library or kind of a Wikipedia where you can go and look for any information you want. But for the eighth dimension, when you realize that every dimension is just a perspective of reality, you will realize that the eighth dimension is not a place where you have to go to look for that information, but you have to become in order to see and feel that information.
It would seem that accessing the Akashic records is a more metaphysical process than merely reading words on a physical page. So, how is human consciousness connected to the Akashic realm?
If we think that we are a leaf or a flower in a tree, and because we are a leaf or a flower, we are trapped in the tree, is because we didn't understand that the flower and the leaf are the product of the tree. They are not something separate. They are trying to feed the tree. With every experience, with every breath, you are feeding the network. The Akashic Records is like this library where every book that haven't been written yet and every book that was written shares the information all the time.
Though the insight one might gain from viewing their own Akashic records is a tempting prospect, Matthias de Stefano warns against this practice before one is spiritually prepared.
So this is the difference between the people that is trying to get into the Akashic records to look for information and the people that is willing to transform itself. So if you take the information from other universe instead of creating your own universe, so you will be eating the fruit of that tree of life, and your own reality will disappear and will be destroyed by the information that is not your vibration. That's why in the story, when Eve eats the apple, the whole story for them is destroyed because she was not building their own information. The only way you can download that information is not going there and look for it, but to be yourself, transform into the vibration of that information so you can download it. That's the good way of doing it. Don't go and look for the information, just put yourself in the level of that information so it could be downloaded to you.
Accessing the records is not as simple as walking into a local library. Those familiar with the Akashic realm suggest one must first attain a deeper understanding for the spiritual and metaphysical process. However, spiritually minded individuals suggest that with the knowledge of the Akashic records and their chronicling of our past, present, and future comes a great tool for enriching one's life.
There's literally no inaccuracy with the book because the book is not going to be telling a fictional story for you. The book is literally going to be your truest self. So if you connect into your records, if you connect into your book of life, it's like looking in the mirror. The mirror doesn't lie. And the interesting thing about this mirror is it's a mirror for the soul. And when you look into it, you're actually able to write. You're actually able to create, to heal, to clear yourself, to create a great life.
The story of our lives is both individual and the coalescence of all living things within our reality. Accessing the Akashic records and viewing our own past, present, and future may be the most profound guidance to understanding the true nature of our reality.
Wow. Good old Gaia TV. You guys can check that out. Oh, that's actually not on Gaia. This next video is from Gaia. But I definitely recommend Matthias can't say his name. Matthias Di Stefano. I definitely recommend his content if you haven't watched him before. He is someone that was born with his memories of his past lives, and he is also born with the memories of how our universe is made and how the different dimensions work. So he's a great channel to listen to when it comes to his raw experiences that he has with spirit. And he's on multiple different people's podcasts and shows, Gaia TV, things of that nature. So we'll go ahead and watch our final video and close out. And this one is going to be about how to access the Akashic records and 3 different ways that others have found successful for accessing the records.
Do you believe that only specially gifted people can access the Akashic records? It's not true. With a bit of practice, anyone can access the records, including you, and I'm going to show you 3 ways you can do it in this video. Hi everyone, I'm Sophia Persephone and I'm a channel for the Council of Light. In my videos I share everything they've been teaching me for the past few years. So, how do you access the Akashic records? And what are the Akashic records anyway? And why would you want to access them? Well, the Akashic records are basically the universal database. They contain every bit of information that exists about our universe and every single data point that's been generated since the beginning of time, as well as the probabilities of what's likely to happen next on both a micro and a macro scale. As you progress to the later stages of awakening, it's really important to learn to read the records for yourself. Once you're in the final transcendent stage of spiritual awakening, your team is going to encourage you to become self-sufficient, because in the early stages of awakening, they're accessing the records on your behalf. They're feeding you the information, but ultimately you need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet and do this for yourself. This saves your team's energy, and it means they can spend more time helping other awakeners. If you want to know anything about your past lives, your intentions for this life, and the best path for you right now, the Akashic records are exactly where you'll find this kind of information. Now, with all of the 3 techniques that I'm going to teach you in this video, accessing the records will be easier if you build a strong foundation. You need strength of mind and an abundance of positive energy. So that means daily meditation, observing a spiritual diet, keeping clear of alcohol and other detrimental substances, and removing negative energy from your system and your environment as much as possible. Okay, so let's dive into the techniques. How to access the Akashic records. Technique number 1, use meditation and visualization. The Akashic records are stored in one of the higher dimensions, so you need to be in a meditative state to get to them. Meditation puts your body into trance and it allows your conscious mind to ascend. You can use whatever technique you usually use to quiet your mind, but you're going to find it easiest if you lie down. Before you start to meditate, set the intention that you wish to visit the Akashic records and be clear about the information that you want to view. Once you can feel that you're in a trance state, you can start with the visualization. Imagine you're standing in a crystal elevator. You see a button before you which says the Akashic records. Press the button and feel the elevator ascend. When the doors open, visualize a long walkway leading you to a beautiful library. At the doors of the library stands the record keeper. Ask him for the information that you wish to view. He will hand you a book or a device which will automatically turn to the page with the answers to your question, and then you can read the information. The answers may appear visually to you, or you may just suddenly know the answer. Now, it's polite to always thank the record keeper for their time once you have the information you need. And as always, come out of trance safely by returning to your body using the same elevator. Okay, how to access the Akashic records. Technique number 2, use automatic writing. Automatic writing is a channeling technique which allows information to flow through you via the superconscious mind. And again, you need to attain a state of trance, and then you just let your hand move freely across a piece of paper or a keyboard without trying to consciously control it. And you might be surprised to find that the handwriting isn't your own. As with the previous technique, begin by setting a clear intention. Ask the question you want answered by the Akashic Records and explain that you're allowing yourself to be used as a channel to receive the answer. Take a few moments to calm your mind and reach a meditative state, bearing in mind that in this technique you'll probably be sitting at a table or a desk. So breathing techniques can help here. For example, you can breathe in for a count of 4, hold the breath, and then breathe out for a count of 8. Once you're in trance, start writing or typing, allowing your hand to move freely. Don't worry about spelling or grammar, just let the information flow. Now, you need to maintain a receptive state during this practice, so don't try to read what you've written or to analyze the contents. Trust your intuition. Pay attention to any nudges or feelings that come up as you're writing, because these are also a form of information. Once you've finished writing, then you can reflect on what you've written and interpret the message you've been given. Okay, how to access the Akashic Records, technique number 3, use lucid dreaming. Now, while this technique requires more practice than the other two, it's an extremely powerful method of receiving information from the records. And it's also great for meeting your guides and your higher self, doing shadow work, and for manifesting. So overall, it's one of the most potent spiritual techniques you can learn. Now, this is a 2-part technique because first of all, you're going to need to develop lucid dreaming skills. You can do this by keeping a dream diary, setting intentions before you sleep, and using reality checks throughout the day. I'm going to link you to Charlie Morley's YouTube channel in the description of this video because he is one of the great teachers and practitioners of lucid dreaming working in the world today, and you can learn everything you need from him if you want to develop this skill. In fact, he is the person that I learned to lucid dream from. Okay, so let's assume you already know how to lucid dream. Again, you're going to need to set the intention before you fall asleep that you want to explore the Akashic Records and be clear on the topic that you want to research. Once you become lucid within a dream, in other words, you're aware that you're dreaming but you don't wake up, you need to stabilize the dream and deepen the lucidity by engaging your senses. You can do this by taking a moment to explore your surroundings and grounding yourself just as you would do in real life. Then seek out the Akashic Records if they're not already in front of you. You can direct your intention within the dream to finding the gateway to the records by visualizing a door or a book or a scroll, anything really which symbolizes accessing the records. As soon as your symbol appears, interact with it in a way that represents your entry into the realm of the Akashic Records. So this could be something like stepping through the gateway or opening the book. Then allow yourself to be open to receiving the information you're looking for. Ask specific questions or just allow information to flow to you. It may come in visual words, or someone might speak to you, you might see symbols, or you might just have a sense of knowing. Have you accessed the Akashic Records? I'd love to hear about your experience, so please leave me a comment below.
All right. So that's our videos for those. And if you guys have anything about the Akashic Records, feel free to drop them in the comments right now before we hop off. And if you have any comments about the Akashic Records, such as strategies that you use to access the records, or just experiences that you have and you want to share, feel free to drop it in the comments at any time, whether it's now in the live or in the replay as well. And if you guys want to receive a Akashic Soul Origin meditation, that is a authentic practice that I was able to download and create in this world, where I help people through guided meditation to access their Akashic records and to be able to access their higher self. And then through that meditation, I channel their higher self and to me on the codes and the way to guide the meditation. And then the person that is participating, they get to receive a inward journey, inward experience of their own activations, triggers, and awakenings from within their own psyche, emotions, and body, rather than me just sitting down and just doing a reading and telling them. They get to actually go through a mental and spiritual experience within their self to come into the remembrance of their galactic lineage or their soul origin. Sometimes we also go through different gateways like golden doorways, and then they take us into different star nations or incarnations where we may do soul retrieval, where we may activate parts of our DNA, as well as anything else that can come up during those moments. So with that being said, if you guys would like to just take a moment, check out the Sacred Kingdom community. This is the international community, the Sacred Kingdom. We are full of practitioners, visionaries, like minds, and wonderful organic product makers that you guys can access and check out anytime.
Hey, what's going on? Marcus ChristoLight here, founder and member of the Sacred Kingdom community. I am so excited to share with you guys the directory and some insight into the beautiful members that we have a part of the council of the Sacred Kingdom community, a international, worldwide, sacred community of soul family, full of star seeds, visionaries, artists, practitioners, shamans, as well as handcrafters and organic product makers. We have such a beautiful variety of amazing quality of organic products, including crystals as well, holistic and quantum healing services, all available in one link page directory for you. And you guys may be able to find who resonates for you, either locally in your area or online through the Sacred Kingdom community. So take a look. Welcome to the Sacred Kingdom community link page, where you guys can access everything Sacred Kingdom that's available worldwide 24/7. First link you'll see is the Facebook page, and you'll be able to take a browse and follow, keep up with any activity through Facebook if you're a Facebook user. Then we have the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is designed with a playlist for each member that is a part of the YouTube channel, so you can access and see content specific to each individual. Now we have holistic healing retreats that are led by myself, Marcus ChristoLight, of Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. And then we have other members of the community that join in with these retreats to help build and bring connective community. These holistic retreats have workshops, live music, plant-based food, and much more. Then we have Lunar Queen and Organics Essence. This is an online crystal shop. She has a wide variety of crystals, greatly priced, high quality, organic with no dyes. Along with that, she also does card readings, and you can book with her. Then we have Eagle's Hearth Ministry and Sacraments, Grandma Katie Sing Eagle, with her tinctures, salves, lotions, herbal products, and much more. Jade's Wellness Trade. Jade's Wellness Trade is a fully organic line, all plant and herbal based, when it comes to home hygiene products such as soaps, shampoos, conditioners, and much more. Operation Oscar Mike. Wow. Where to begin? Good fellow of mine, AJ Lardy, his friends Scott and Eric own a alternative healing nonprofit business to help military and first responders to bridge with alternative healing. Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, myself, Marcus ChristoLight, Reiki, Akashic meditations, as well as inner child healing, shadow work, and more. And then we have Shining Soul Healing and Wellness, QHHT, quantum hypnosis, as well as herbal-based healing products with Sarah Broadhead. Soul Awakening with Sandra Marshall out of California, a wonderful podcaster, as well as lecturer and educator. And then we have Soulista Healing with Christina out of Pennsylvania. You guys can check out our link page anytime. And you guys can browse and book with services, purchase crystals and organic products. Along with that, we also do host retreats together and other events. We have online spaces like full moon and new moon events, and much more to come. Tune into our podcast on the YouTube channel, Sacred Kingdom. Reach out if you'd like to become a member and grow with this community as we continue to bring generational wealth and healing to all generations of planet Earth. One love.
One love. That is the Sacred Kingdom community. You guys can check us out anytime. You guys just check out this QR code right here on the screen. You guys can go directly to the link page directory where you can check out a whole catalog of practitioners you can book with, consultate with, as well as organic product makers and crystal shop owner, Lunar Queen. So check it out. And we also host retreats. I have a New Year's retreat coming up. And as we close out, I'm going to play a little promo for you guys for the New Year's retreat coming up from the 31st to the 2nd of January out here in Western PA. I will see you all tomorrow rising at 9 a.m. Eastern as we will explore our next episode of Grand Rising with ChristoLight. Thank you all. Wholeness, balance, love.
Step into 2026 with intention and sacred purpose. Join ChristoLight Healing and Wellness for a transformative 3-day New Year's retreat at the historic Apple Butter Inn in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. From December 31st through January 2nd, immerse yourself in cacao ceremonies, healing gong baths, and conscious manifesting workshops led by renowned practitioners Sadhanam Singh, Jesse Thomas, Katrina Durant, and Empress Dawn Faya. Enjoy live music by Shy Brown and Evan Sturgeon while nourishing your body with plant-based meals and resting in luxury rooms with fireplaces and memory foam beds. This is your safe space to heal, connect with soul family, and consciously celebrate the new year.